Сайн байцгаана уу хүн түзэгчтэй. Өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Оросын язгууртан Трубецкой Тайжийн удмын хоёр гүнж оролцож байна. Наталя ба Наташа.
Наталя Саворски вон Ритерсберг. Абстракт импрессионист зураач. Оросын Трубецкой Тайжийн удмын гүнж. Тэрээр Францын иргэншилтэй Орос, Татар, Итали гаралтай зураач хүн юм. Түүний элен цөвөө Оросын Трубецкой Тайжийн удмын язгууртан байсан бөгөөд хувьсгалын үеэр Франц руу дөрвсөн байна. Түүний элен цөвөө удмын хөрөнгөө авч үлдэх боломжгүйгээр дөрвөн гарсан учраас амьдралаа орморгүй хоосноос Францад эхлүүлсэн ба Наталя нас бий гүйцэтлээ язгууртан удмынхаа талаар огт мэдлэг өсчээ. Наташа Troubetzkoï. Зохиолч Оросын Трубецкой Тайжийн удмын гүнж. Түүний элен цөвөө мөн л Оросын Трубецкой Тайжийн удмын язгууртан байсан бөгөөд хувьсгалын үеэр Франц руу дөрвсөн хэдий ч удалгүй Швейцар руу нүүсэн байна. Тентхийн Женев хотод Наташа мэдлжээ. Багасаа зохиол бичих чин сонирхолтой байсан тэрээр 19 настайдаа анхны богино өгүүлэхийн төврээ хэвлүүлсэн байна. Одоо 2 дахь зохиол дээр ажиллаж байгаа бөгөөд уг зохиолд Монгол гаралтай хүний дүрийг мөн оруулсан аж. Зохиол бичгийн хажуугаар гүнж Наташа нь банкнд ажиллаж мөн хүнд гэмт хэргийн хохирогчдыг дэмжих сайн дурын ажил эрхэлдэг.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Mongolia.
Thank you.
Very nice to learn about what you do here. But before we talk your mission in Mongolia, let's talk about your grandfather a bit. And please, maybe we will start from you.
Okay.
Please make a short introduction, what you do, where you were born, and what is the connection with your Troubetzkoï.
I was born in Switzerland, as my mother is Swiss, and my father descends from a Troubetzkoï family. My dad was born in France because, you know, there was a revolution in Russia. And my family had to leave Russia because of revolution. My grandfather was Russian, but lost nationality because of the revolution, and only had Argentina passport.
Argentina?
Yes.
Wow. So grandfather left Russia, or
Yes.
father left Russia?
Grandfather left Russia.
Grandfather. And he is Troubetzkoï.
Yeah, Troubetzkoï, yes.
And how many Troubetzkoï in the line were at that time, or now? Both?
Now there are many branch of Troubetzkoï. I almost know there's a way to prove with a book about the family.
Family trees.
Yes, exactly.
And what you do now?
I work in bank, and I'm sole writer.
Also, you are writing, and we will talk about your novels later on. Okay? How about you, ma'am?
The same as Natasha. We left. My grandfather left Russia during the revolution, and they went to France. That's why I was born in France, and he obtained the French citizenship, and he stayed with my grandmother, and they had 5 children, and my father was the eldest
of them.
so, of them. Yes.
So your grandfather, as well as your grandfather, how far your 2 grandfathers are from each other in the line?
How far? They were.
Which descends in
They were
cousins or?
We're cousins, but 2 branch.
Were different branches.
Yes.
I see 2.
Yes.
She come to Troubetzkoï family, but another branch.
Yeah.
So and now you do theater decoration, right?
I'm an abstract expressionist painter. I do only this stage for Ayana Sambu, only for my friend Ayana.
So you came both by the invitation of this group who is now going to perform Cinderella,
Yes.
200th anniversary of Cinderella, Rossini in Mongolia, which is happening first time in full format in Mongolia. You have been doing the scene decorations. You are part of the team, and also who is singing? Performing. Who is performing?
No.
No.
Okay. So now let's talk again, about your family. Have you been visiting the place where the first Troubetzkoï was living in Russia?
Yes. My grandfather was born in Sakoi, so I visited this place. Unfortunately, there was a part that was, destructed because of the Nazi.
And also in Moscow, there is a palace or house.
There's a palace, but it was more to another branch of Troubetzkoï.
I see.
Uskoye.
Where is it?
It's in Moscow, and the name is Uskoye.
Uskoye.
Uskoye, yes.
Okay. Now, your parents, obviously, both of you, your father, grandfather, were leaving Russia. Then, in France, for example, there were many similar families, Russian aristocrats who was running away from Bolshevik Russia.
Yes.
And initially they came. Some of them were lucky to bring some wealth with them. Some of them at all. They could not make. They were running away.
Yes.
So, what was the time of their leaving? In your both cases, you're in France, you're in Switzerland, right?
I'm Switzerland since my father. But my father was born in Paris.
Okay, so both in France. Russian aristocrats' family ran away from Russia to mostly France, because it was more connection of Russian aristocrats with French and French culture.
Yes, exactly.
And how, do you recall any of your father's or grandfather's sharing of that time when they were just arrived to France?
Yes, my grandfather unfortunately lost everything. So when they arrived in Paris, my grandfather really tried to adapt and to find to have some kind of help, which didn't materialize. So he decided to take my grandmother and go to Lorraine, the region where there was a lot of industries and job openings. So they moved from Paris to Lorraine, and that's where I was born. And from that point on, he built up from scratch everything, his family, his job, his wealth, everything, from zero.
And how wealthy he is now, or his children?
We're doing fine.
Not doing fine.
But we're working. We have a full-time job, all of us. We've always been working.
And that's the issue, that the intrinsic need for having education and then having a job.
Very important.
Yes. And where you got the first point that you need to be educated, not only, your bloodline is famous, but still you have been creating your wealth yourself.
Absolutely. My father made a point when we were growing up not to tell us anything about the family.
Okay.
He wanted us to be independent and foremost to be ourselves and to find our place in society. So we were told at a later stage in life about the entire story of the family because they struggle a lot. And my father wanted to teach us to be independent, strong, and have our own identity. So go to school, get an education, and foremost get a job, be part of society.
When you have learned you are from the Troubetzkoï, well-known, very famous Russian aristocrat family, when you have learned, was it any change in your life, understanding of life, or thinking about life?
I felt sadness, great sadness, because I understood what they endured and what they've lost. Because when you decide to leave your country, when it's a choice, it's one thing. But when you are kicked out in a hurry and you lose, forget about the money, you can always make money. But when you lose your family, people, that's a tragedy, that's the real tragedy. And to build a new life that you have not chosen, I felt extremely sad for them.
And you
An
started
immense-
to understand more
Yes.
your grandfather and
Yes, I understood why they were so silent and why they were acting sometimes so withdrawn.
father. Wow.
Yes.
How about you, Natasha?
Well, my family had an international life because my grandfather was born in Trubeckoï with a mother from Argentina. Because my grandfather was general for the Tsar, and he represented Russia in Roma. And he met this Argentina great family, and they get married. My grandmother was a soprano, so she sang for Queen Margherita in Rome. And they were life between St. Petersburg and Roma.
Okay.
So when there was a revolution, no way to go back to Russia. And then the family traveled, especially since the death of my grandfather, Russian grandfather. And then my grandfather came to Paris and get married with a French woman. He adapted himself to French culture because there was still communism. And when my father was born, he was Catholic and Orthodox both, because there was the double religion, you know, the French religion and the Russian religion. My grandfather was very dynamic. He was a businessman. He spoke Russian. He had Russian relatives, but there was still this drama. Never come back to Russia. It was not possible.
So
and he died. He died. There was still communism. So
I see. So
So
he
it's
hadn't seen the end of the communism
Exactly.
in Russia. Well, your grandfather was able to take the wealth to France or not?
no, they
Also-
lost everything. They were helped by the Argentina family that helped to get the Argentina passport.
Wow.
But he made this business.
If they went to Argentina or not?
Sometime after the first war, yes, they made a trip to Argentina.
Otherwise, you are set in France. Now
Yes.
you work in Geneva.
In Switzerland,
In
yes.
Switzerland. Why Switzerland?
I was born in Switzerland because my dad moved from France to Switzerland a long time ago for job opportunity.
Okay.
Because my family has always worked.
When you have learned that you are Troubetzkoï,
Since I was born, because
Okay.
in school I had to write my name, which is a Russian name, in a French school. How do you pronounce that? I do write that. So
who is Troubetzkoï? The people were asking you, right? And when you have learned that Troubetzkoï is just not another Russian name, it's a very
Prince family,
strong
but my
name, yes.
parents told me, be careful, do not tell everybody, be humble.
And you did.
Yes.
And if there was any time that you are still princess, do you feel it? Do you express it?
I have to be, because I already been to ball, in France, in Paris, and I have to behave to look like a princess. Especially that in Paris, my grandmother, my French grandmother, she had a reputation of fashion icon. So I had to be,
I see. So you grown up in a famous family anyway, either father line or mother line. And what is your now approach to that wealth in a way, which was you have not created, but it is created already, and yet, in your case, you said will work. In any case, how about you?
Yes, I have to work, because my dad educated me in a way you have to work.
But you don't need to work.
Yeah, we did. We need, because we lost everything from Russia, and even my grandfather, because there was things that were stolen. So
see, now you are the brave ladies, in a way, continuing this dignity. Whoever you were, but still you as a human being, you are working hard, even in this society now. And you are not only working, but you are doing an interesting job. And let's talk about your writing. What do you write about?
well, I already wrote a novel, I'm writing my second novel, and also a book that was ordered from a family. It's a real story.
Real story?
Yes.
About what?
A drama.
A drama?
A drama that takes place in south of France. It's a family who lost their son because of medical errors that was made by...
It's modern life.
Yes, exactly.
Contemporary life.
Exactly.
And what made you to write that novel? Why?
A different reason. One is that I do voluntary job in Switzerland for an association for victims because there are a lot of injustice in Switzerland. Justice is not very kind with victims. They help much more guilty, people who do crimes. So I decided to do voluntary job for this association. I became the vice president. So I'm used to talk with people that were victims of very bad things.
Crimes,
very
yes.
like rape, pedophile, violence. So I already been confronted to that.
I see.
So, and then it happened that somebody was looking for a writer to write about his son that died in a tragic way, especially that he was young. He had a fiancée that was pregnant. So I was okay to do that, to write this story.
So you are reflecting the victim side of the crimes,
Yes.
which is happening, unfortunately, all around the world. In some countries in more sophisticated way, in some countries in a very simple way, for just for food, etc. It's very, very noble work you do.
I think that the most important is not to have a nobility title, it's the nobility of heart.
Very good. How about you? What do you do? I know you are painting. What made you painting?
I just love it.
When you have learned that it is your passion?
Since very, very little. I started to... My first drawing was in the living room of my parents on the wall. I painted a portrait of myself. And when my mom discovered it, it was...
It wasn't work.
I had to clean it up.
Okay.
I was 5 years old, and I remember the cleaning up of the wall, and it was quite a big task.
Your style is very interesting, kind of half impressionist type of and half realistic. Yes. I saw several of them, and now I will show the viewers about some of your things, in particular for this Cinderella.
Yes.
Why you have decided to work for Cinderella?
Actually, it's a beautiful story. I met Ayana, and I. We didn't know each other. She stopped by an expo I had in Rome, and she saw my paintings.
Mongolian opera singer in Italy,
yes,
Ayana. Yeah?
Yes,
and
Ayana
she came
Sambu.
to
your museum
She came to my exhibitions.
Which year?
And it was in 2014.
14, okay.
Yes. And she loved it, but we didn't talk. We didn't say anything during that evening. A year after that, she called me and she introduced herself, and she said, I've seen your paintings and you paint love and fairy tales, and I have this idea to put on stage and direct La Cenerentola by Rossini, and your paintings reflect Cinderella. Would you be interested to contribute, to collaborate with me on this opera? And I said, yes, absolutely, because it's...
Why so strict, yes?
Because of Ayana. She is someone who has a pure heart. She's a real artist. She's honest. She is someone who comes across as incredibly talented. And the project was so interesting because she said we will bring young opera singers from Mongolia to study in Italy opera. And sponsoring youth is very important because they are tomorrow's, they are the future. So this also was an aspect that really was interesting.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Speaking about Cinderella, which is going to happen on Mongolian scene shortly, when you start to work in Cinderella? Of course, we have seen the movie, all this.
Yes.
But now you are even deeper. Now you are trying to not only understand yourself, but to show it to other people. If there is anything that kept you moving or motivated in that, the story of Cinderella itself.
Yeah. The story of Cinderella to me is a reflection of a modern day woman, because she comes from a very difficult background. Cinderella lost everything. Her mom, her father, found herself with a stepmother who hates her, two stepsisters who really don't like her at all. She ended up to lose everything, like our family did. So that's what also attracted me to this particular fairy tale, that from ground zero, she's capable to lift herself back up. Dignity, and also in society, it's a reflection of that touches deeply.
In whatever circumstances, like in the case of Cinderella, in the case of you ladies, there was one thing. It kept you being as you are, with your dignity, even those dignity who were put later on with your names on your shoulders. Still, dignity and hard work can be together, right?
Absolutely.
That's the story of Cinderella, and Mongolians now very interested. You know, Mongolia is one of few Asian countries which had started to make opera, ballet, mid-50s. And now it's 3 million people only. So somehow that connection with the classics, Italy, opera, or music, Austria, Germany. So you are being a part of Russia, which you didn't know, but you are now part of Europe and a part of that whole Europe, bigger picture. Visiting Mongolia back, I mean, the first time, I understand. Any thought on that? Being European, coming to Mongolia, Asian country, what is your impressions and thoughts?
It's wonderful. But it's first time in Mongolia. It's incredible for us. It's so different, and so we have to learn from Mongolia, because people are so strong. There's a strong history. The landscape are beautiful. It's very inspiring. We feel very inspiring from the beginning.
Yes, as artists, we are very, very inspired. Yes.
Have you been traveling around?
No, we visited the square because we don't have time. We work.
Keep repeating.
The first day we started to work.
So you do a keep repetition, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope you will have some time after the performance go around. What makes Mongolia, us for example, to think, because we are people of steep, very wide, and which makes you know, to keep your temperament, you know, because we say, be as wide as your steep. So when the problem comes, that's what we say. And we have particular relations with the steep through our horses, animals. And so it's good that to learn that you are inspired and you are ready to do this work. And I wish you have a more travel countryside. And what is your plan to take back to your work, to your country from Mongolia?
Inspiration. In my second novel, there's a character that has Mongolian blood.
Whoa! How come? How come?
Because
of Ayana Sambu.
Yes.
Ayana made an impact on us, a very strong impact.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this young lady, on her own, decided to be opera singer.
Yes.
And then she made it.
Yes.
Strong, nice voice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it is not that easy, my goodness.
No.
Come to Europe and to be a singer in Italy.
The cradle of opera, and here she comes and she becomes, you know, a wonderful singer. It's the level of Italy is the highest in the world. Can you imagine? I mean, it's just incredible.
Well, you think so?
Yes, it's the
Yes.
pride of Mongolia, I think.
Yes.
She's
We are in
incredible.
awe of her,
Yes.
of what she had achieved. It's just unbelievable. Yes.
Great, great, nice to hear that. And I wish she will be, and you guys also as well, in good cases for many Mongolian young ladies, young girls, to think about their future. If you determined, you can accomplish a lot. And that's what is your book about, I understand.
Yes, exactly. But when I see people here in Mongolia, they are very strong. They can do anything, anything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Incredible drive.
Well, okay. So, any plan to go to Russia to learn more about your family?
Well, I already been. One of my brother lives in St. Petersburg.
Oh,
so
brother.
sometime I go to visit.
How many
So
siblings you have?
I have two brothers.
Uh-huh.
They are twin.
I had to twin, okay.
They are twin, yes.
And one of them live in St.
St. Petersburg. One has left Japan. He has made 1 year in Japan.
Uh-huh. So they are older brothers.
Yeah, yes.
What they do in what the one in St. Petersburg do?
My brother who lives in Petersburg is a French teacher.
Oh, what a mission! How about you? How many siblings?
I have an older sister.
Older
She lives in France. Yes.
Uh-huh.
She lives in the south of France.
And now today you are more French than Russian, right?
Yes.
And your name is now Riтерsberg, German name.
It's Sаворски von Rittersberg.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
This is Savorsky.
Savorsky is my father's, obviously, family. It's a Tatar family, Tatar-Mongolian family of origins. And that's why I'm in Mongolia as well, because, you know, I wanted to see
Well, that's really...
the roots of the family. I was really
Yeah, Tatar
attracted.
Mongolians. Yeah.
Yes.
In Russian history, during communist time, they were blaming everything for Tatars and Mongols. And so I think during communist time we were not very popular there.
Yes.
But nowadays some scientists are reopening this story, telling what was the role of the Mongolians attack, and with Tatars people together, they came together, and a lot of Tatars are living now in Russia. They have a small autonomous republic, Tatarstan. Have you Bashkiristan? Have you been to this area?
No.
Not.
That's another part of Russia. They say connect with Mongolia, and I think one day we will have very clear picture that both sides agree. And anyway, before we go, Rittersberg is a German name.
It's an Austrian name.
Austrian name. It's
When,
your husband's name.
No. It's my name. It's my family name. It's the complete name. That von Rittersberg was given to my family during Peter the Great. The family was working for the Empress Maria Theresa, and this was like like a medal, a reward for good services rendered to Maria Theresa. So it's attached to the name, but it's not a title. It's not attached to a palace or anything. It's just a recognition.
Recognition.
Yes.
But now it comes as Savorsky von Rittersberg.
Yes.
And which one is family name?
Savorsky.
Savorsky.
Yes.
Von means?
Savorsky von Rittersberg, it means that it's a Russian family who worked for Maria Theresa in Austria. That's what it means, historically speaking.
Okay.
That's it.
So you have another strong relations with Maria Theresa, right?
Yes.
And that family, Habsburgs. So do you sometimes then with this name feel like you are German?
Not at all.
Austrian?
No. Sorry.
You speak German?
No.
No, okay.
I don't. My sister does, but I don't. No.
But when the whole name comes on your passport?
I don't have the other half of the name because it's too long.
On the passport you are Natalia Savorsky.
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 Yes.
And Savorsky, when you guys travel, I mean, at the border you may have been asked a lot of questions, right? in particular when you go to Russia.
Yes, when we stop in Moscow, they looked at me always. They recognize.
And you register Troubetzkoï. Anyway, ladies, I would like to thank you for this nice conversations.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you.
And I hope it will strengthening your relations with Mongolia and opening to many Mongolians more understanding about you, what you do, and your famous grandfathers and their families, and see how history is scrutinizing things, you know, going through unexpected ways. But wherever you go, you are staying as you are, and that's what you two ladies do really well. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And doing this Cinderella together. And I wish all you and your team all the best. And thank you for bringing Cinderella to Mongolia.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
It's a great honor.
Thank you. За хүн үзэгчдээ өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Оросын Трубецкой Тайжийн удам судрын хоёр эмэгтэй оролцлоо Наталя, Наташа. Их баярлалаа.